this episode, we are looking at the kind of mobile problem that makes beginners feel overwhelmed because too many symptoms show up at once. A phone or tablet may be slow, lose connection, act strangely, drain battery faster than normal, fail to open apps, or show pop-ups and alerts that make the whole device feel unsafe. When that happens, it is easy to treat the device like one big mystery and start guessing at random. A better approach is to slow down and separate the problem into smaller parts. Once you understand how a technician looks at radio causes, operating system, OS, causes, app causes, and security causes, mobile troubleshooting becomes much easier to follow because you stop asking what is wrong with everything and start asking which part of the device behavior is most likely causing the trouble. Before we continue, a quick note. This audio course is part of our companion study series. The first book is a detailed study guide that explains the exam and helps you prepare for it with confidence. The second is a Kindle-only ebook with 1,000 flashcards you can use on your mobile device or Kindle for quick review. You can find both at Cyber.Me in the Bare Metal Study Guide series. The first big idea is that mobile problems often feel bigger than they really are because one symptom can trigger another. A weak connection can make apps freeze, and then the user thinks the app is broken. A struggling app can use too many resources, and then the whole phone feels slow. Malware can run in the background, cause battery drain, fill the screen with unwanted behavior, and make network problems seem worse than they are. An OS issue can create app crashes, poor performance, and failed updates all at once. This is why beginners need a clear habit from the start. Do not treat every bad symptom as a separate emergency. Start by asking whether the device problem is mainly about getting a signal, mainly about the device software, mainly about one app, or mainly about suspicious or unsafe behavior. That one habit saves time and keeps you from blaming the wrong part of the problem. A radio cause means the device is having trouble with the wireless path it needs in order to communicate. That might be a mobile data signal problem, a wireless network problem, a Bluetooth connection problem, or a problem related to poor signal conditions around the device. A beginner does not need to know every radio standard in detail to support the user well. What matters is understanding that many mobile features depend on a stable connection, and when that connection is weak, delayed, or blocked, the user may experience symptoms that look like app failure or phone failure even when the real issue is outside the app itself. A device with poor signal may take a long time to load web pages, may fail to send messages, may pause during streaming, may show endless loading inside an app, or may keep trying to reconnect in the background. The app becomes the place where the problem appears, but the radio path may be the real reason. This is why one of the first things a technician should ask is whether the issue happens everywhere or only in certain places. If the phone works fine at home but fails in one building, one floor, or one parking lot, the problem may have more to do with coverage than with the device itself. If the user says the device is slow only when using mobile data but works fine on a good wireless network, that points in one direction. If the opposite is true, that points in another. A beginner should also notice whether more than one app is affected at the same time. If maps, mail, streaming, and messaging are all struggling together, that often suggests a connection problem before it suggests that all of those apps suddenly broke at once. This is one reason good mobile support starts with where and when, because radio problems often follow location and environment in a way that OS and app problems usually do not. Performance problems are different because the device may feel slow even when the connection is fine. The home screen may lag, apps may open slowly, typing may feel delayed, the device may heat up, or battery life may drop because something is working too hard in the background. This is where the OS becomes more important. The OS controls memory use, background tasks, updates, storage handling, and the general flow of the device. So when the OS is overloaded or unhealthy, the whole mobile experience can feel heavy and unstable. Beginners often assume that a slow phone means it is simply old, but that is not always true. A device can become slow because storage is too full, because too many background processes are active, because updates are unfinished, because a bad app is consuming resources, or because unwanted software is running. The technician's job is to notice whether the slowness affects the whole device or only one app at a time. Storage pressure is one of the most common reasons a mobile device feels slow in a broad way. When the device is too full, The OS has less room to work smoothly. Updates may fail. Apps may crash more often. Photos and downloads may back up. And the user may feel that the whole phone has become stubborn and unreliable. This matters because a beginner may blame the battery, the processor, or the network first when the real issue is simply that the device is running out of working space. A technician should think about storage when the device becomes slower over time, when app updates stop working, or when the user reports many small failures across different functions instead of one single clear fault. If one app is crashing but the rest of the phone feels fine, that tells a different story. If the whole phone feels crowded, delayed, and unstable, the OS and storage situation become much stronger suspects. App failure has its own pattern, and this is where beginners need to learn to separate one misbehaving app from a sick device. If only one app crashes, refuses to sign in, freezes after launch, or behaves strangely while the rest of the device feels normal, that points more strongly toward an app cause than toward the whole OS. The app may need an update, may be holding damaged local data, may be incompatible with the current OS version, or may depend on permissions or network access it is not getting. This is why a technician should ask simple questions such as whether all apps are failing or only one, whether the problem started after an update, and whether reinstalling or clearing the app state changed anything. App problems are common because apps are constantly updated, tied to account services, and dependent on device settings in ways the user usually never sees. The key beginner lesson is that one broken app does not automatically mean the whole device is broken. Permissions and app settings are a big part of this. A camera app may fail because it no longer has camera access. A Maps app may behave badly because location access is limited. A messaging app may stop alerting properly because notifications were turned off or restricted by power-saving settings. A cloud storage app may appear broken when the real issue is that it has lost account access or background data permission. These cases matter because the user often says the app stopped working and expects a hardware explanation, when the real cause is a setting the OS is using to control how the app behaves. A beginner technician should remember that mobile devices are built around controlled app access. Apps do not always get full freedom to use the camera, the microphone, the network, or location data unless the user and the OS allow it. That means a support person should always think about app permissions before calling the app damaged or the device defective. Malware adds another layer because it can copy the symptoms of many other problems. A device with malware may become slow, show unwanted ads, redirect browsing, drain battery, overheat, install strange apps, request odd permissions, or behave in a way that makes the user feel the phone has changed personality. The challenge for beginners is that malware symptoms do not always arrive with a clear warning. Sometimes the device just feels worse over time, and the user thinks it is aging badly. Other times the device begins opening strange pages, showing repeated pop-ups, or requesting administrator-like access through suspicious apps or links. A technician should think about security causes when the behavior feels intrusive, when the symptoms began after a questionable download or link, or when the device shows changes that do not match the user's normal actions. Malware is not the answer to every slow phone, but it should stay on the list when performance, connection behavior, and app problems all appear in an unsafe-looking way. Suspicious app behavior is often one of the clearest signs that the problem may be security-related instead of ordinary software trouble. If a flashlight app suddenly wants broad permissions, if an unfamiliar app appears after the user clicked a link, if the browser keeps opening pages the user did not request, or if the device starts showing heavy advertising outside of normal apps, then the technician should take the security angle seriously. A beginner should also remember that social engineering often plays a role. Users may install something because it looked helpful, urgent, or harmless, and then later describe the device as just acting weird. This is why technicians should listen for the story behind the symptoms. What changed before the problem began is often just as important as what the problem looks like now. When the beginning of the problem includes an untrusted app, a fake alert, a strange profile, or a suspicious message, security causes move much higher on the list. Battery drain and overheating are useful clues because they help tie together performance, app, and malware causes. A device that gets warm during navigation, streaming, video calls, or charging may be acting normally for the workload. A device that gets hot while sitting nearly idle, or drains battery fast even when the user is not doing much, may have a background process using too many resources. That could be an app stuck in a bad loop, an OS problem after an update, a radio problem causing constant reconnection attempts, or suspicious software running in the background. This is why heat is not just a hardware clue on mobile devices. It is also a behavior clue. If the phone is always searching, syncing, loading, or waking itself up, then the battery and heat symptoms can help the technician decide whether the cause looks more like connectivity trouble, system trouble, app trouble, or a security problem that needs closer attention. A methodical technician usually starts by separating broad problems from narrow ones. If the whole device is slow, many apps are affected, and the phone feels hot or unstable, the technician thinks more about OS health, storage pressure, resource use, or security causes. If only one app is failing, then app-specific causes move higher. If internet-dependent features fail only in certain locations or only on one kind of connection, radio causes move higher. If the symptoms include pop-ups, unknown apps, strange redirects, unusual permissions, or behavior the user did not start, security causes move higher. A beginner does not need a complex flowchart to use this idea. The important habit is just to sort the problem before trying to solve it. Broad problems point more toward the device or the environment. Narrow problems point more toward one app or one account. Unsafe-looking problems point more toward security. Account issues can also make mobile problems look much larger than they really are. An app may fail because the user is signed out, using the wrong account, or hitting a multi-step sign-in requirement that was not completed. Cloud-based apps may appear broken when the real issue is that the device has poor sync, lost account trust, or is waiting for authentication that the user dismissed. A beginner should understand that mobile apps are often tied closely to accounts, not just to the device. That means a healthy app on a healthy phone can still look dead if the account behind it is missing, expired, restricted, or incomplete. This is one reason technicians ask whether the problem affects one account or all accounts, and whether the same app works on another device. Those questions help separate device trouble from service or sign-in trouble, and that saves a lot of wasted effort. Updates create another group of symptoms that can confuse beginners because they can help and hurt at the same time. A missing OS update may leave the device unstable with certain apps, but a recent update can also trigger new problems if an app has not adjusted well yet, or if the device has low storage and the update did not finish cleanly. App updates can break expected behavior, change permissions, move features, or create bugs that affect many users at once. This is why a technician should always care about timing. If the problem began right after an OS update or an app update, that timing matters. It does not always prove the update is the cause, but it gives the technician a direction to think in. For beginners, this is a very useful lesson. Ask what changed just before the failure began. In mobile support, the answer is often an update, a new app, a new network, or a security event. A few simple examples help show how these categories work. If a user says their phone is slow only when leaving the office and several online apps start spinning at the same time, a radio cause becomes very likely. If the phone is slow everywhere, storage is nearly full, the home screen lags, and updates are failing, the OS side becomes more likely. If only one app crashes every time it opens while the rest of the phone behaves normally, think app cause before thinking full device failure. If the user reports battery drain, pop-ups, strange redirects, and an app they do not remember installing, then security causes need attention right away. These examples matter because they show that the same user word, broken, can describe very different real problems. The technician's job is to sort those problems into clearer groups before trying random fixes. By the end of this topic, mobile problems like slow performance, bad connectivity, malware symptoms, and app failures should feel much less mixed together. Radio causes usually follow signal, location, and connection type. OS causes usually affect the whole device more broadly, especially when storage, updates, and background activity are involved. App causes often stay limited to one app or one service path. Security causes often add suspicious, intrusive, or unsafe behavior that does not fit normal device use. A beginner does not need to know every mobile platform in deep detail to troubleshoot well. The real skill is learning to separate the problem into the right category first. Once you do that, The device stops feeling like one giant mystery, and you can work through the symptoms in a calm, methodical way instead of guessing at everything all at once.
Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit BareMetalCyber.com.